Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So if you sent us your stack of Retter Reboot news this week, wow,
Just
you
wow.
decided to check in on the AI world, right as it feels like the entire industry just hit the turbo boost button. We have a ton of material
Yeah.
here, but the signal is, it's really clear.
It is. The volume is high, sure, but the theme is laser focused. This deep dive is all about recognizing that AI is no longer just a tool you use. It's becoming a coworker, a shopping manager, and, well, maybe soon, your developer team lead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our mission here is to cut through all of that noise and pull out the highest impact knowledge points for you.
Uh-huh.
We're focusing on this massive structural shift that's happening right now.
Uh-huh.
The move from single-use AI tools, chatbot here and image generator there, to these fully autonomous integrated systems.
I think if you take one idea away from this, it has to be the move toward agentic workflows.
Yeah.
We are seeing a new kind of software where the AI doesn't just, answer a question.
Right.
It orchestrates and executes these complex, multi-step tasks all on its own. It's about proactive systems that just get the job done for you.
Okay, let's unpack that. I think we have to start with the Google ecosystem because they just announced this incredibly aggressive generative leap this week.
Oh, absolutely. Google is clearly pushing for dominance in this agentic future, and they're doing it across the board, from their big general models to these hyper-specialized little tools.
And leading that whole charge is Gemini 3 Pro. The headline is, our smartest model yet, but the real strategic claim, the thing that tells you where software is going, is generative UI.
That's the real ambition. We're all used to models that generate content, right? Text, images, little bits of code inside an app that already exists.
Sure.
Generative UI means the model itself can create the application's interface, along with the code underneath it. It can even spin up simple 3D scenes from just a natural language prompt. They're trying to make the platform itself generative.
That sounds like something out of science fiction. But what's so fascinating, and what the source material brings up right away, is the reality check.
Yes, that tension is crucial. The Gemini agent, which is supposed to handle all the practical multi-step stuff.
Like triaging your inbox or booking a hotel.
Exactly. Bookings, payments, all of that. According to early testers, it's falling a little short of those polished demos.
Falling short, how?
It's slow, sometimes unreliable, but more importantly, it's surprisingly overcautious. And this isn't just a technical glitch.
It's a design choice.
It seems to be. It highlights the safety guardrails Google has put in. The agent will often just break the workflow and ask for human confirmation rather than trust itself to, say, make a big payment. The gap between the ambition and reliable autonomy is still pretty wide.
That's a critical insight. Trustworthiness is the bottleneck. But they're not stopping there. They're taking that agent idea and applying it directly to software development with a tool called anti-gravity.
This might be the most structurally important release in the whole stack, at least for developers. Anti-gravity is a free, agent-first IDE, an integrated development environment.
It's built on Gemini 3 Pro, and it's a fork of Visual Studio Code, so it looks familiar.
It looks familiar, but the workflow is completely different.
So how does that workflow change? What's the human's role if the AI is suddenly doing the coding?
The developer's role shifts from coder to manager, an orchestrator.
Yeah.
You can assign a really complex task, like implement a new authentication layer, and then you orchestrate multiple AI agents to work on different parts of that project at the same time.
You're managing a team of AI coders.
A team of reliable, if a bit slow, AI coders, yes.
Okay, but if they're all running on their own, how do you avoid the classic black box problem, where you just have to trust the AI did the right thing without introducing, bugs or security holes?
That's the problem that verifiable artifacts is designed to solve. It's a crucial mechanism, instead of the agent just spitting out the final code.
And you have no idea how it got there.
Right, it has to produce auditable items at every single step. So we're talking detailed task lists, implementation plans, even browser recordings of how it tested the code.
So it's like a mandatory real-time paper trail for everything the AI does.
Precisely. And this makes asynchronous coding suddenly transparent and auditable, which is, essential for any big company to adopt it. A human manager can just quickly review the AI steps and only jump in when needed. It completely changes the economics of quality assurance.
Okay, so moving from the big brain of Gemini and the coding brain of anti-gravity, let's pivot to a couple of specialized AIs that got huge upgrades.
First up is Nano Banana Pro. This is their upgraded image model, and the big news is it's now free. It's pushing for really high-quality 4K capable images.
And the features are so specific. I mean, the ability to seamlessly blend up to 14 different images and 5 people into one coherent scene. That's huge for advertising or complex design work.
And this model is really important strategically because it's not just about fine-grained editing. The critical part is that it embeds C2PA metadata universally.
That's the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity.
Yes.
So that's the invisible digital watermark that proves where an image came from and how it's been changed. It's a direct answer to the whole deepfake trust crisis.
Exactly. It ties directly into the regulatory themes we're going to talk about later. It ensures that content from Google's platform has that transparency label that's frankly being demanded everywhere.
And finally, a utility AI that just, it genuinely makes life better. Weather next to.
This is the kind of breakthrough that really improves public services, infrastructure planning, things like that. It uses what they're calling a functional generative network.
Okay, that sounds dense. Let's break that down.
In simple terms, instead of running one or two really complex, slow simulations, this generative network can simulate hundreds of possible future weather scenarios in less than a minute.
And practical results of that is what? Exactly.
Faster, much higher resolution, and more accurate predictions up to 15 days out. But the biggest benefit is how it handles uncertainty. By simulating hundreds of futures, it can clearly show you the risk profile. So if you're an energy company planning for solar output or an emergency service planning for a hurricane, you get a much clearer, more actionable picture of the range of what could happen.
That's a powerful idea. Okay, let's shift gears from Google's tech to how AI is integrating into human collaboration and commerce, especially with the holidays coming up.
The collaborative space is getting very interesting very quickly. OpenAI is making some big moves here.
Absolutely. They're rolling out group chats globally across all their plans, free, Go, Plus, Pro. This feels like a definitive move beyond the one-on-one assistant.
It's a direct shot at tools like Slack or Microsoft Teams. You can now use the AI to, say, plan a group trip or co-work on a business plan. Everyone sees the same context, the same history, and the AI acts as this shared brain for the whole group.
Meanwhile, Perplexity is making two incredibly aggressive moves. First into mobile browsing, and second, straight into e-commerce.
Yeah, their Comet browser is out on Android, with iOS coming soon. It's totally built around AI search. You can mention open tabs in your questions, get multi-tab summaries. It's all about making research faster on your phone.
But the e-commerce play is the real game changer here, especially right before Cyber Week.
Perplexity has teamed up with PayPal for a free agentic shopping feature in the US. And this fundamentally changes the search engine from an information tool into a transactional one. You can actually buy products right from the search results.
And I'm guessing the PayPal part is what makes it all work.
Critically, yes. PayPal handles the payments, the buyer protection, all the merchant of record stuff across more than 5,000 retailers. So the search result becomes an end-to-end shopping agent. It doesn't just suggest a product, it handles the entire purchase.
I hadn't thought about the scale of this. The agent isn't just researching, it's collapsing the entire sales funnel. This ties perfectly into that enormous economic forecast you flagged.
The numbers are just staggering. Salesforce is forecasting $334 billion in global online sales for Cyber Week. But if you drill down,
Here it comes.
AI agents are forecast to influence 22% of that total.
22%. That's what, around $73 billion?
Yeah.
Influenced by AI.
And we have to be clear what influence means. These agents aren't just selling you things, they're acting as your personal budget manager and researcher. They see your history, they understand your intent, and they optimize the whole journey for you. It completely validates this rush to dominate the shopping agent space.
And it's all happening on mobile.
Yeah, 70% of the orders, 80% of the traffic. It's all about AI on the go.
Speaking of the infrastructure that makes all this possible, moving into our final section, we got a very sharp, very unwelcome reminder this week about just how fragile the foundations of the internet can be.
Yes. The Cloudflare outage was a major disruption. It took down huge parts of the web, ChatGPT, X, Canva, so many critical services.
So Cloudflare put out a post-mortem, and they confirmed it was not a cyber attack, thankfully. The bad news, though, is that it was a self-inflicted wound, a classic tooling failure.
They traced it back to a misconfigured database query in their bot management system. And that query generated a configuration file that was just way too big.
A bloated configuration file, I think they called it.
That's the one. And when that file got pushed out to the network, Its size just crashed their core proxy services everywhere.
This whole event is such a jarring metaphor. We're building these incredible agentic systems on top, but a single buggy file can take down huge chunks of the global internet.
It really raises an important question for you, the listener. When we rely on this kind of centralization for speed, how do we protect against that single point of failure? I mean, the fixes Cloudflare is rolling out now, stricter size limits, slower rollouts, they show that the safeguards are lagging behind the speed of deployment. The risk is very real.
And that need for stability and trust brings us perfectly to the regulatory side of things, specifically the EU, which seems to be trying to find a balance between innovation and protection.
Yeah, the European Commission proposed a digital omnibus package, and what's so interesting is that they're kind of doing the unexpected. They're easing key parts of the very regulations they championed, like GDPR and the AI Act.
Okay, so here's the key takeaway from the impartial reporting on this. The EU wants to boost growth by making it easier for companies to share anonymized or pseudonymized data. And this is the big one. It explicitly allows personal data to be used for AI training as long as all the GDPR rules are still respected.
If you look deeper, that's a clear strategic move to make Europe more competitive for building foundational AI models. They're trying to close the gap with the US and China. The plan also, it delays some of the high-risk rules in the AI Act until the supporting tech is actually ready.
It's a pragmatic recognition that you can't overregulate something before the standards even exist.
Exactly. It's a necessary compromise, especially for smaller companies.
So finally, let's look at how consumers themselves are being given direct control over this flood of AI content. And we can look at TikTok.
TikTok is rolling out controls that are much more nuanced than the usual on-off switch.
That's right. In the Manage Topic settings, users now get a dedicated slider. You can literally dial the amount of AI-generated video up or down in your For You feed. It lets you tune your own exposure.
And this ties right back to what we said about Google and C2PA. TikTok is also using invisible watermarking and C2PA content credentials to label AI clips, even if they get re-edited and re-uploaded.
They're backing it with money, right? A literacy fund.
A $2 million AI literacy fund to support education. They're acknowledging that just labeling content isn't enough. You also have to teach people how to interact with it responsibly. It's a multi-pronged approach.
So if we step back and just look at the whole landscape from this week's Retter Reboot stack, AI is no longer on the periphery.
Not at all. It's a core infrastructure player. It's a verifiable coding assistant, a dominant force in commerce. And it's forcing new regulatory thinking and a real hard look at infrastructure resilience. The speed of this shift is breathtaking.
This week really highlights the central tension, doesn't it? You have the massive ambition of these new agents, anti-gravity, the shopping tools, running right alongside these huge infrastructure risks like we saw with Cloudflare.
All while regulators are racing to find that middle ground between speed and safety, it's a high-stakes moment where ambition is constantly testing stability.
Indeed. So we spent a lot of time on agentic code generators like anti-gravity, which can take these incredibly complex tasks and break them down into verifiable, auditable pieces. So here's a final thought for you to mull over. How quickly will the very definition of a developer change when so much of the heavy lifting can be delegated to these AI artifacts? What's the next human skill to master? Is it project management, rigorous auditing, or is it simply having the imagination to define the next big task for your AI team to build? We'll leave you with that to explore.